As this video is being recorded, the last two hadn't been uploaded to YouTube yet, but they will be by the time this one is, and this one will be uploaded by the time you're watching it. So I just wanted to kind of give you that bit of information and let you know that after recording the first two last night, and one I was a little too tired to upload to YouTube, and one I kind of needed to kind of go to bed and rest and let it upload to Amazon Photos so I could download it to my computer this morning. But I do want to come on here and show a little finish of these steps just to kind of get it a little further done, because it could be sooner or later we could be finished with this particular pig, kind of getting the little steps done along to make it so it's going to be what it ought to be. And then kind of just, I say, like put a little time into it where we just make a little knot in the top of the head and see how this is going to go just good for us, and make it so it's going to come right through and show right through, and then sort of like make it so it's going to go right in and see what this shall be. And this is where we've kind of worked along what little things we have, and now we're going to kind of put certain knots into certain places just to kind of get it where we can have the lines in place and be able to sew along it to make it so it's going to be just one little pig that shall turn out fine and for the better, and get a little put through here and a little thread through here, and then kind of make it so it's going to make its way through. See what this is going to be like when we get it all done in the end, for what we're going to have. I say there comes times when there are little things in life we refrain from, and that's where I start to try to make my page so much more about crafts these days. So we kind of got a little knot in the top there of the head. I think we're going to put one here in the little snout too, and kind of do little work to get it right in its own good little place, I say, and put little knots right into the little work, and kind of show one little problem can kind of be gone away by another, and a little work to do. We just kind of shine our light on all we have and all we say and see, and the little ways we kind of work around life, and how this is going to come about. This was a little moment where probably didn't find it all that necessary to bring my coffee and water over here, because I'm kind of feeling better than I have been, and my father's probably upstairs in bed because of his sickness, and so that's kind of the reason why the basement is a little bit quieter and peacefuler this morning. I go to work in probably about 2 hours, something like that, maybe. So it's all on a good schedule. I've got good hours for myself and good hours for what I do and what I need. And oh, I say that this is just little ways of light and happiness in all we have and do. And I say just some work with the needle and thread makes its little way along us to see how we can all just be in a world where we see political lights and little things that shine through. Come along here, go down the snout a little bit, go working our way to it, and probably see a thing or two we're going to do as we get a little bit more further along the work, and how it all is going to come a little ways. We got little threads to put through the poor little pig and all the things we come to see as far as how a little stuffed animal can turn out for the best and come along, make its way to where we see that there's so much more that we can handle. Probably had a little sneeze there from allergies, but thankfully I'm feeling fine this morning. I didn't wake up feeling sick or anything like I caught my dad's COVID or something like that, but with all this little thing we come along with here, we just make it so the little pig can just come out so fine and get along where we have little works we make happen. And so we're gonna work our way along this, and sometimes, just sometimes, there's all kinds of strange things that happen to us in life, and all the things we see with kids coming and places going, and oh, and I say that even my niece, she wasn't able to come over last night. She usually does come on Thursday nights, but due to sickness in our house, she wasn't able to come, and so, that's why she kind of, had to go elsewhere with my brother last night, wherever they went. So, if I'm ever sick, she comes over because I don't really come up there and play with her much. I'm usually down here in the basement kind of doing my work when she's here, so that's kind of the way that goes. But just do want to kind of mention the fact that it's always just a good thing to know that somebody's around. But if my parents are sick, she wants to sit on the couch with them, she wants them to play with her, and all kinds of things. We just kind of know that kids want when they're used to somebody, when they know you, when they're used to you playing with them, and when they get to where they start relying on you and depending on you, that's kind of the way kids will go. And that's how it is with my little niece and how she does. We know that we hear sounds of devices. around the house, computers and things, so that's how they all work for us and how they do for us. And you know, that's just the kind of little work that we come on and learn from ourselves as far as just how we all do. I say that we've got working time, working means, and I say that this is just how far we take it along. Make it so the pig is just going to be the little light in everyone's little corner, I say. And so, just to work our way along this, we kind of go back over the place at the top of the face where we had already kind of sewn before, and then kind of make it so it's going to be a little place for a pig to bring its way out and show us a little way that we do what we do. And then I say little time shall come, we'll put stuff away and kind of work a little ways out to the next little step we take. Thinking at this moment it's probably a good time we got the whole front sewn up here, so in a little ways I say we kind of got to take a needle, kind of push through the back, and this is where some little sign can take us to the next little place we ought to be. Hopefully this series won't have to be long. Can finish it here sooner or later. Got everything packed up in my car to go to my show tomorrow if I don't get sick and if I do make it there. And just thinking that these times in life, you know, there's going to be a lot to set up, a lot to show, a lot to do. So I'm going to be real busy about that, taking care of just things like that that we need to kind of keep the show going and kind of keep it real. I mean, I get a little nervous sometimes because I sometimes put things out that I hope will get sold, but sometimes have a fear that they never will. Some things get purchased and some things don't, and it all depends on what they are, depends on the prices I charge. And some things, you know, it's like I've always heard it said how it takes a special person to appreciate a certain work of art, and how that the little work comes along to make it. And that's one of the things where you see a lot of people want a lot of detail in their work, but don't really have that much interest to pay the price, you know. And how it just kind of changes from one to the next of us as far as what we do in life and how we handle it our best, and just make it so we're knowing the good times and ways in us to see how it shall all work out in the very end. Got a little place here where I got this little point made here at the pig, and got this little place made where we can hold it together now down here while we sew up the back. And Good thing to get this in a little line. We're going to kind of come up here, kind of come up and try to work up at the top tip of the tail to make a little line in here. Hoping I'm just coughing from allergies and nothing else. So, kind of make the line so it kind of guides its way in to where we're going to try to work little ways along here. Make little lines just to come right the way. Just the way they will, just the way they'll do. I say that it's just kind of like how we can make a little work shine, come to us to see how we will make it do and in time. And so this is where we kind of will have our line come right in here to come to the end, get at the butt of the pig, and work a little tiny ways along the edge, taking it so it's going to be a little nicer ways to turn out for us for all the best. And I say that this is where we kind of get the little work done in, make it so it's going to kind of brighten us up to where a little light shall shine on our work. And I just want to mention it's just a little bit over a week until Halloween here. So there's been all these little things in different ways that have been said about that. So it's all just kind of a little stranger to us, and how it all shall just be able to go and see how it's going to make it all kind of work about what we all have to do, have to say, have to see. I say that this is just one little light of us to see how prayers are answered. There's probably some of these critters that probably won't be out until next year. So we kind of work them away now just to try to get the best from them and see how they're going to do for us. I've gotten little figures out at the Artisan Market Capital and events in Frankfurt, and that's where some of my Christmas stuff has been put out. It's a good thing I've got room on my shelf for things, because there's probably going to come a time sooner or later when that's not going to be lasting. And so with all this little thing we say in prayer and life, and oh, the little work we do, I say God is good and God is great and God is gracious, and all the ways we kind of praise him for all he's done in our lives, you know. Sometimes, just sometimes, you know, you just kind of get a feeling like, you know, there's some people who if they have certain ways in their lives and praise God so much, it's like, you know, you just don't know what they've been through. You know, they could have been through anything in life, and sometimes we just kind of learn to have a little more faith as we go through the things we do. And that was how it goes for just little old things like that, how we worship people and God, and how we see another light of day, all the things we suffer from and thankful he gets us out of. I kind of started along the little tip of the tail here, but go a little rest of the way down. I say make little other stitchy lines to go a little further, and in the end we're going to bring the tail out just so it kind of comes to where it's going to need or ought to be, and then work it out to where it's just kind of just in the right place. And as for now, I think we're going to start up here at the back of the head. Try to put the place here where that goes, and I say make it so we're putting the knot right through, and then kind of working where we get up the rest of the way to where we're going to get a little further up to the top, kind of make a little line through the place where we already tied up at the top of the head, and kind of get it where we're going to have little good ways work for us and work for the better. I say up where these little fringes are, we worked our way around that and go through them each way till we get where we come down to where we can finish up the back of the head, make it so it's going to be little time when pigs shall make the way, kindly show little gracious light to us, and how we all just see work shall come, work shall go. Oh, I bless a little thing. And come along this way, got other little marks and lines to make. Sometimes you might stick yourself a little bit when you sew by hand, but you know, there's little things like that you can kind of learn to tolerate now and then, because when you're just really working at it, little things like that are going to happen sometimes. It's kind of like how, you know, whenever I was cutting out some little German Shepherd blanks and kind of getting little cuts on the bandsaw, and there was something Sarah Listy of Tool Girls Garage posted to Instagram and commented on it, just kind of saying, you know, one thing I knew the feeling about because how it was with tools, and she kind of replied back to me saying, don't sell yourself short. See, she grew up around tools, you know, her father worked in construction and did a lot of building, so she was kind of around them all her life, raised around them, so she just kind of knew enough about them that she worked them as a kid and asked her father a lot of questions, and that being how she learned so much like she did. And I say that there was so much in life we learn from people, and I mean, and I'm just thankful these days, you know, she kind of had that spinal surgery not long ago. She posts about that to her Instagram and tells us how she's recovering from that for the better, and I kind of think it's kind of a good little thing we see how that just comes along, because I think she is just probably going to do a lot better in the long run and make it where she's going to kind of come to recovering, because I always enjoyed the content she puts out and couldn't wait to see her recover so she could put out much more. once or twice she's kind of shown up on her Instagram and Facebook posts in her back brace, and she kind of does have to wear that a little now to do some of her work, but thankfully there's some things she could be back in the shop doing, for which we're thankful she can. And I tell you, she just got a real good heart for people, and all the ways she reaches out to them, and all the ways that she has of all the good she does in this world to see other people in a good light. Oh, I say, like, little word can kind of come and tell us all little things we see, say, or do, but she goes on and makes it all seem like it's just working out for us for the better. We see, and now I've come back, made it back to the top of the head on the pig, and sometime when I come back on video, I might kind of do a little demo as to how the other one, how it's been turned out already, and how we're going to do as far as just stuffing it and sewing it. So I say that with what we got here, it can be kind of some work just to kind of turn these things out. So I say, as far as how my morning's going, I might kind of sort of put this video to rest for right now and come back on sooner or later. Don't know when it'll be, because tomorrow I have a show to go to, and if I don't get too sick to go, and that's how that's going to go, and I'll be happy to get around to demonstrating again later. But again, I want to thank you all for coming on here and watching me sew, for hearing what I have to say, for following my page. And I would like to say, if it so interests you to do so, I would like it that you would hit the subscribe button and follow more of my videos and help me kind of get a little bit more audience to my page. And thank you all again for coming on, watching, and take care and stay safe.